Another video. So it looked like DeWanna Bonner left the Lynx on edge.
Minnesota thought they had DeWanna Bonner locked in, contracts ready, celebrations planned. But out of nowhere, Indiana swooped in and stole her. The Lynx didn't just lose a player, they lost their entire offseason plan. What makes this even wilder? Bonner had been hinting at this for months. Remember when she said she wanted to win now after the finals? Or how she barely reacted when Phoenix traded for her fiancé. The signs were there. Minnesota just missed them.
Glad that this really worked out, because this almost turned really ugly for the WNBA, man. You talking about Nafisa Collier being on a revenge tour. That was definitely going to be a revenge tour worth watching, man, because they were going to mop the league.
This wasn't just a decision. It was a calculated chess move that had been in the works since last season. The Minnesota Lynx were so confident they had DeWanna Bonner locked in, you could almost see them sizing her up for a jersey and planning the press conference. But behind the scenes, a strategic battle was unfolding, one that no one saw coming.
5 of last season's regular starters left during this offseason free agency. They're talking about the Connecticut Sun here, including 3 who had spent their entire careers, a collective 23 seasons with the organization. One of those players, Alyssa Thomas, sought a move to a championship contender, Phoenix, with superior facilities.
Minnesota wasn't just interested in DeWanna Bonner. They were all in. They saw her as the perfect veteran to take their championship-level roster to the next level. The Lynx, one of the WNBA's model franchises with multiple titles, had been focused on Bonner for months. They were deep in negotiations, with multiple sources confirming serious talks with her camp.
Also explored trading for Thomas, league sources told The Athletic, and looked at signing her fiancé and former Sun teammate DeWanna Bonner.
But here's where it gets crazy. The Lynx were so sure they had Bonner that they were already planning their lineup with her in it. They were figuring out how she'd fit alongside Nafisa Collier and Kayla McBride, even picturing championship parades in Minneapolis. That's not just speculation. That's how confident they were.
Unless the other things or other desires or other factors, as they say, I'm pretty sure that's the key factor of why she left and why she went to the Fever instead of the Lynx.
Want to know how serious Minnesota was? They even looked into trading for Alyssa Thomas, Bonner's fiancée. That's like buying a house together before the second date. The Lynx were ready to reshape their entire roster just to make Bonner feel at home. They weren't just interested, they were all in, pushing all their chips to the center of the table.
Thinking of the Lynx, man, that would be a disgusting team if she ended up going to the Lynx, man. Can you imagine Alyssa Thomas going to the Lynx, allowing Nafisa Collier to play the 4, and then you even have Bonner there as well? Like, dog, that is, woo.
Meanwhile, Indiana was playing it smart, while Minnesota was loudly courting Bonner, making their intentions clear to everyone. The Fever were quietly working behind the scenes. No leaks, no rumors, just strategic relationship building. They let Minnesota believe they had it all locked up while they were secretly setting up the perfect heist.
I can't even imagine Fee at the 3, and then you have Bonner and Alyssa at the 4 and the 5. Oh my goodness, bro. You could tell the Lynx knew that the Indiana Fever were piping up as far as grabbing some of the best players to make that organization run like a well-oiled machine.
But here's the wildest part. Bonner had been hinting at her true intentions for months, and Minnesota completely missed it. The signs were there, if you knew where to look. Remember last season's WNBA All-Star Game? Photos from the event showed DeWanna Bonner and Caitlin Clark deep in conversation. Not just quick hellos, but serious, focused discussions. Now, certain pictures are resurfacing online, showing Clark and Bonner talking at All-Star Weekend. Not saying it's fact, but it sure makes you wonder if this move was already in the works. Those weren't just casual chats between colleagues. They were the early stages of a partnership. A veteran star and a rookie phenom connecting on a vision for the future. And this was happening long before free agency even began. While Minnesota was busy planning championships with Bonner, she was already imagining what she could build with Clark in Indiana.
Most of the teams do realize that is about to happen, so they are strengthening up their roster And that move right there would have been crazy, fam. That would have been a crazy move. Having Alyssa Thomas and DeWanna Bonner on the Lynx, that would have been unfair because then you have Fee and then you have McBride. Oh my goodness, dog.
Man, what we just saw wasn't just a free agent having a last-minute change of heart. This was a calculated move, months in the making. Bonner played it perfectly. She let Minnesota believe they were the frontrunners while quietly positioning herself with Indiana's vision the whole time. Absolute masterclass.
Now, from the jump, I felt like Alyssa Thomas and DeWanna Bonner was going to be that other couple that always stayed together. But, DeWanna Bonner pulled a rabbit out of the hat on me, man, and said, hey, I'm going Indiana.
While everyone was calling this a shocking betrayal, Bonner was seeing something in Indiana that no one else did. When she said she wanted to join a team on the rise, was she just being polite? Or did she genuinely see championship potential that Minnesota and Phoenix completely overlooked?
But Phoenix also heavily courted Bonner, league sources said, yet the desire to win immediately, among other factors, led Bonner to the Indiana Fever.
Let's be real. Phoenix thought they pulled off the ultimate chess move by trading for Alyssa Thomas, Bonner's own fiancée. You can just imagine the conversations in their front office. Asterisk, there's no way she turns us down now. We literally got her partner. And yet, that's exactly what happened. The Mercury execs must have been absolutely stunned when their relationship power play completely flopped.
Now, I wonder what the other factors were. I mean, going to the Lynx is definitely a win right now situation. It's mainly the other factors that made her go to the Indiana Fever.
You have to wonder what Minnesota was thinking too. They had championship DNA, a proven coach in Cheryl Reeve, and a roster built to win right now for a 37-year-old veteran chasing one last ring before retirement. It seemed like the perfect fit on paper. Both Minnesota and Phoenix offered Bonner everything a player at this stage of her career could want, yet she still chose Indiana.
I think maybe Bonner is going towards popularity. Maybe she grow that popularity, and then after the season is over with or when she retires, she can start her own podcast and have people check in with her. I don't know. I'm just giving out hypotheticals here.
But Bonner saw something different. In her own words from Indiana's press release, she's extremely thankful to be joining an organization that's on the rise and committed to growing the sport of women's basketball. That's not just PR talk. That's a veteran who's been around long enough to recognize real potential when she sees it.
That move right here, she's basically saying, I want to play in front of sold out crowds. I want to get that popularity popping. I want people to sell out my jerseys.
The most revealing part? Bonner specifically mentioned her desire to help Indiana get back to its championship pedigree. This wasn't about taking the easy road and joining an already established contender. It was about building something special from the ground up. She's looking to leave a legacy by turning a struggling franchise back into a powerhouse.
What a business decision. And then also you have a competitive team that could actually go to the finals this year. So that's just a win-on-win situation.
What makes this even more fascinating is that, according to The Athletic, Bonner's desire to win right now is a major factor in her decision. That means she truly believes Indiana gives her a better shot at a championship than Minnesota or Phoenix. At first, that sounds crazy, but when you look deeper, actually makes perfect sense.
I knew Alyssa Thomas wasn't going to ever think about going to the Indiana Fever the way she was talking about the fan base at the end of the season. But, yeah, man, DeWanna Bonner, man, said, look, forget what you're talking about. I'm about to take my talents to Indiana. I don't care how you feel about it.
Indiana isn't just any rebuilding team. They have the most explosive young duo in basketball with Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston. We're talking about two generational talents who complement each other perfectly and could dominate the WNBA for the next decade. Bonner saw that. She realized that joining them now puts her in the perfect position to ride a wave that's just beginning to crest.
This happened. I believe the Indiana Fever are going to be one of the best run and gun teams you've ever seen in the WNBA. And that goes back to me saying that Caitlin Clark is still going to average 20 points, I feel, and be able to get those assists.
The basketball world keeps thinking conventionally, assuming veterans only want to join established winners. But Bonner is 5 steps ahead. She didn't just look at Indiana's current roster. She saw the future of women's basketball forming before anyone else. She recognized that Clark and Boston aren't just good players. They're franchise-altering talents who can elevate everyone around them. And she wanted to be part of that transformation.
I feel like the Fever have a great chance of averaging between 90 to 100 points a game, bro. I'm not going to lie. And Caitlin is still going to be Caitlin. She's going to be more efficient on the shooting, seeing how she's been working out, getting her shot together.
And you know what's truly mind-blowing? The Indiana Fever, the same franchise that was a punchline in the WNBA for years, has suddenly become the hottest destination in the league. All those tweets mocking Fever fans? Yeah. They're aging like milk left out in the summer sun.
Because I'm telling you right now, bro, no disrespect to the Mercury or the Lynx, but I don't see them.
This wasn't just any struggling franchise. Indiana was stuck in basketball purgatory for years. A small market team that couldn't attract star talent no matter how hard they tried. They were the team veterans avoided, the destination players dreaded in trade rumors. In the WNBA's power structure, it was obvious where stars wanted to go. New York for the bright lights, Minnesota for the championship pedigree, Las Vegas for the glitz. Indiana? That was where careers went to fade away.